What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box. What you're seeing on screen is some Medal of Honor 2010 single player from the campaign. Before you click off and go crazy and say, I don't want to watch single player, oh my god, stick with me here because I'm going to be talking about Medal of Honor Warfighter, Medal of Honor 2012, whatever you want to call it. It feels like you should be calling it 2012, but I guess the official name is Warfighter, so we'll go with Warfighter, which is a pretty awesome name. Warfighter! Yeah, let's go fuck some bitches up! Anyways, I chose single player over multiplayer for a reason, and that is because obviously single player was done by Danger Close, multiplayer in Medal of Honor 2010 was done by DICE, and we can see how that worked out. Medal of Honor 2010 multiplayer was okay, but it was flawed in many ways, which really ended up showing up and everything, and you know, but that was a DICE production. This is a Danger Close production. There's two completely separate things, you know, and I think you can see if you played this game, played through the single player, and then played through the multiplayer, there's a complete disconnect that, you know, single player is amazing. It really is. It's probably the best single player campaign in this style of game, you know, where you got just a really short campaign, and the multiplayer is supposed to be where everything's focused, but a real short and serious campaign. You know, it's just brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I cannot say how brilliant this campaign is because it is brilliant. Even though it is heavily scripted, such as like this mission right here. Unlike a Call of Duty, they don't keep shoving, oh look at the big explosion! 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 Block! Block! Building kick! I'm sure you guys probably know that commercial. Hopefully you know that commercial, because that commercial's awesome. But you know, it's just, you know, the communication from your squad and everything. It just makes it awesome because you kind of feel like you're actually there, you know, you're hearing things that you would expect these guys to be saying, not, oh hey, we just blew up the Eiffel Tower, that's awesome. Or, you know, Ramirez, go to Burger Town and give me some large fries. You know, you didn't get that. You know, you got, you know, there's a guy 1 o'clock high, you know, you got that. That's awesome. Not Burger Town crap. You know, this mission right here is my favorite mission in the single player, not because I like things that fly and blow stuff up, but because, you know, it really puts you in there. You know, it tries to insert you into those shoes, even though, you know, it's obviously not realistic. Obviously, you know, this is not even close to, you know, a realistic game or anything, and it's not trying to be, but it's trying to have a realistic story, which obviously they did just brilliantly in Medal of Honor 2010. But why I'm talking about the campaign in this game is because obviously I think the campaign is actually what I'm looking forward to about Medal of Honor Warfighter, more so than multiplayer. Not to say that I'm not looking forward to multiplayer. You know, I'll probably end up posting some multiplayer of this game up here anyways, but because it's actually not dead, but it's still flawed, and largely because there's simply too many players on too small of a map, which really is a terrible issue to have, but you know, other than that, it's not that bad, to be perfectly honest. But you can definitely tell that they Danger Close that is, definitely approached this with a much more serious outset, and you can even see, basically, from the videos that we've seen of Medal of Honor Warfighter, the trailers, and the partnership videos, which, if you have not even looked on their YouTube channel, kind of shows the mindset that they seem to be approaching this with, because really, what other video game in this style is going out and getting partnerships with gear companies who actually supply the gear to our troops and all that stuff? No one else is doing that. No one else is making videos about doing that. So it's quite clear that they really want to, you know, approach this, get the right stuff, get the accuracy down. You know, they've said it multiple times that they're working with these super secret badasses who can completely, like, destroy you just by looking at you and, like, have your mind explode because they're freaking badasses like that. Real scary dudes, by the way. You know, which is completely different than what you see with a game like a Call of Duty where, you know, it makes no sense. Honestly, that whole series has made no sense since, you know, World at War. But, you know, that's a completely different topic for a completely different thing. So, you know, but I'm just kind of wondering, oh, and by the way, we do know that Voodoo and Preacher are coming back in Medal of Honor Warfighter, at least in one thing. which is going to be awesome because those guys are awesome. But that's another thing that they did really well, in my opinion, was creating a squad that you felt connected with. You know, that's another thing that Call of Duty 4 actually did really well, you know, with their game, and something that they haven't done since then, you know, which was create that tight squad relationship type of thing where, you know, it's like you've been with these guys, kind of, sorta, you know, you're working with them, you know who they are, they're not just some random douchebags, you know, like Ghost was in Modern Warfare 2, like, he just randomly showed up out of the blue and got shot in the face. Haha, you dead, bitch! But they will be bringing back Voodoo and Preacher, so obviously their stories are going to be a little bit interconnected somehow. I'm just kind of fearful, though, in terms of what we're going to be seeing out of Warfighter, is because obviously in the trailer there's like 50,000 different locations. And I'm not talking about the Tier 1 operators and all that stuff. I'm talking about the locations that we're pretty much suspecting the campaign will take place in. There's a lot of them. And I'm hoping, as I just eat an RPG right there. Wow. I'm hoping that they don't end up keeping the same length of campaign and stuffing that many locations into it. Because honestly, Medal of Honor 2010, the campaign, was just too short. You know, honestly, if it was a terrible campaign, if it was like a Modern Warfare 3 type of campaign where it's just like boom, 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 yeah! I'd be like, okay, good thing it's over. But in this game, I wanted more. I wanted more. It needed to be longer because honestly, I was still just getting into it, you know. But if they're adding more locations, I'm just kind of fearful that it's just going to become, you know, like a Call of Duty campaign where we just keep going from location to location for no real reason. I mean, one of the things that Danger Close did do supremely well, again, with the single player in this game, was just weaving the stories together, and you'll even see at the end of this mission, or you already know, how this mission ends. It doesn't actually end the way you think it ends, but, you know, just weaving them together, and you don't actually leave the area. You know you're still here in Afghanistan, and you don't just like, oh hey, we're randomly in Sweden right now, invading Stockholm. Hey, let's just go ahead and drive by DICE's headquarters and tell them to fix their game. Anyway, but what I'm trying to get at here is Medal of Honor Warfighter. I think a lot of people are getting really hyped up and, you know, thinking, oh, you know, Medal of Honor 2010 wasn't bad in terms of multiplayer, but, you know, it was definitely flawed. You know, taking that same approach that I'm taking right here. But Danger Close is quite clearly approaching this much more seriously, at least in the single player. Definitely wanting to be more, I'm trying to think of a way to put this, more respectful of what these guys are going through and what they're doing. You know, rather than just 50,000 explosions, boom, boom, boom. Hey, look, this is cool, so let's throw another 5,000 explosions in there. Which, in terms of multiplayer, that doesn't really make sense. I mean, you look at Medal of Honor 2010's multiplayer, you know, combat mission, which was basically the rush mode or whatever, in this game, which is actually a pretty cool mode, but, you know, honestly, it wasn't like a respectful type of thing when you think about it. You know, I'm not sure if they're going to bring over that approach to multiplayer again. We really don't know because, you know, this is completely done by Danger Close this time around, rather than having DICE sitting there watching, you know. Because honestly, when I think about it, you know, soldiers running and jumping and, you know, just basically willingly saying, I'm gonna die! You know, like, I tend to play multiplayer in these games, you know. It isn't necessarily the quote-unquote respectful approach, if you understand what I'm saying. So I think we could actually see a multiplayer in Warfighter that is completely different than what we have seen from 2010, that we've seen from, you know, games like Call of Duty, which, you know, quite clearly Medal of Honor was brought back from the dead to essentially fight Call of Duty and trying to, you know, eat their market share. So really, could this become the next Rainbow Six game? Maybe? something like that, where it's, you know, more focused on realism. I mean, yes, I realize there's much more to a Rainbow Six game, or a good Rainbow Six game, than you know, just the health and the weapons and all that stuff. But, you know, when you think about single player, going back to that, you know, Danger Close, they went ahead and put in, you know, the cover system where you can slide into cover and everything. Call of Duty doesn't do that, you know? Most other shooters in this type of, you know, same style don't do that, you know? They didn't do that in Battlefield, you know, for their single player. It's, you know, it's quite clear that they want you to get down and, you know, approach it somewhat realistically rather than, you know, just run in there guns blazing and just, I'm Rambo! So what do you guys think? What are you guys looking forward to from Medal of Honor Warfighter? Do you guys think it'll be a good game, or do you think it'll suck, or do you think it'll just be completely underwhelming and we're all getting our hopes up? Because we all probably are getting our hopes up if anything has ever proven itself true. It's that it seems like whenever we get our hopes up for a video game, it completely it fails to live up to the expectations just for stupid stuff. You know, even Medal of Honor 2010 is a perfectly good example of that, where, you know, if you remember on release, the snipers getting one shot by a bolt-action sniper in the toe. I mean, didn't need to be that way. It probably should not have been that way. And actually, no, it should not have been that way. Not probably shouldn't be that way. And hey, Genius, put your Hellfire over to the right there where that box is. That's saying, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. I'm personally excited for it, because even though I run the gamut from, you know, wanting more realism to wanting arcade shooters and running around and doing silly stuff, you know, they're different games, so let's approach them differently. But this game here, Medal of Honor Warfighter, coming up October 23rd, for those of you guys who didn't pay attention. Could it become the next hybrid? Could it become a much more realistic game than what we normally see out of stuff like this? So honestly, like I said, you know, the ending of Medal of Honor 2010, which I'm not including here because it'll make the video too long, I guess, for YouTube, because they're being douchebags like that. Maybe I'll upload it separately if you guys need to see that, or you can just go ahead and look for it, you know. You know, it's quite clear that Danger Close is approaching this much more seriously and trying to be much more respectful than what we've seen in the past. So I'm going to shut up and let you watch this ending cutscene. Aight, bye.
Viper, mission accomplished. Gunfighter 1-1 is pretty beat up. Gunfighter 6, roger.
Viper, Gunfighter 1-1, E38 is far up approximately 12 mics. Have crash rescue on standby.
Gunfighter 1-1, 12 mics, roger. They'll be ready for you. We're going direct to the farm, shortest distance.
No arguments here.
Shit, take him out! Oh, fuck! Gun fail, breaking left.
Nice kill.
That wasn't us. We have no gun.
Someone does. That was a hell of a shot.
Saved our asses.
Damn right they did.
Target destroyed. Headshot confirmed at 1050 meters. Nicely done.
Dusty, this is Panther. Tell Deuce, nice shooting. Textbook example of how to get ahead.
Panther, ridgeline, 12 o'clock.